Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. I'm Ryan Spurney.
And I'm Jackie DiNapoli. This is the week of November 4th through November 9th, and this is our special pumpkin show.
That's right. It's a tradition here on The Morning Show that each year we dedicate one show to that seasonal symbol that tastes so delicious, especially in pie form.
We have a lot of interesting pumpkin facts and information, and even a pumpkin game.
Along with celebrating the pumpkin, our show is packed with several of our food segments, including a new food facts. This week, our child nutrition department shares with us some holiday eating tips.
We also have our special report from the Archaeology Channel. It features a look Muharraq Island in Bahrain, where a team of archaeologists have been excavating a buried fort. It is a very, very interesting story.
Jackie, it's always nice to start our shows off with a little humor, so I have to ask, how do you repair a broken jack-o'-lantern?
Who doesn't like a good joke? How, Ryan?
With a pumpkin patch.
Thanks for sharing that joke with us.
Anytime.
Today, in our safety segment, we feature an old classic of the morning show, the Electrical Safety Man. He teaches us common electrical safety tips we can use around the house.
It's going to be another excellent show, but for now, let's swing over to our news anchor, Airly Ward, who is standing by with our first look at your school news headlines. Good morning, Airly.
Good morning, Ryan and Jackie, and welcome everyone to your school news here on The Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week, high standards for EOG and EOC testing announced. Corning awards Roland Grice teacher for excellence in STEM teaching. The Executive Office professionals hold their fall kickoff event. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Airly. We got things going today with a segment we call This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Hi, welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Sarah Dorsey, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of November 4th through the 10th. On November 4th, 2008, Barack Obama was elected President of the United States, becoming the first ever African-American president. November 5th, 1862, President Lincoln removes General McClellan from command of the Army of the Potomac. President Lincoln saw that McClellan was being lazy and sluggish with his duty as general, and as a result, Lincoln replaced McClellan with Major General Burnside. November 6, 1977, the Toccoa Falls Dam in Georgia gives way, causing 39 people to lose their lives in the resulting flood. A volunteer firefighter had inspected the dam just the day before and said that everything looked fine. But only hours later, the dam gave way, sending water surging down the canyon and smothering the community below. November 7, 1980, actor Steve McQueen, one of Hollywood's most famous actors at the time, died of cancer. McQueen was in multiple famous movies such as The Towering Inferno, The Magnificent Seven, and The Great Escape. November 8, 1895, German scientist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen becomes the first person to observe X-rays. Röntgen's discovery was actually an accident. He was testing whether or not cathode rays could pass through glass when he noticed a glow coming from a nearby chemical-covered screen. X-rays would eventually go on to become one of the most important advancements in scientific history. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. November 9th, 1965, at dusk, the biggest power outage in U.S. history occurred as the entire state of New York and the 7 surrounding states, as well as part of eastern Canada, lost all power. The outage was caused by the tripping of a 230 kilowatt transmission line near Ontario, Canada. The power line caused a domino-like effect that spread throughout the northeastern part of the United States. 15,000 law enforcement agents were called in to prevent looting, and all power was restored by the next morning. November 10th, 1969, Sesame Street, one of the most famous shows of all time, makes its broadcast debut. Sesame Street has aired in more than 100 countries worldwide. Today, an estimated 8 million people tune in to watch Sesame Street each week. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Sarah Dorsey. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. It teaches school news, information, and local community events while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the new Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
And don't go away, we'll be right back.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
You ever had? Only thing I'm guilty of is giving you too much love, making you crazy, making you right, making me fall, making me suspect. Seem to think I'm playing her game. Don't you know her? This is me.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Each year, thousands are senselessly killed by people with no criminal record at all. People like you.
Yeah, you. Are you the weakest link at your bus stop? Because you don't know the bus stop safety rules. When riding on the bus, stay in your seats. Don't stick anything out the windows. Listen to the bus driver. Follow his or her directions. Talk quietly with your friends. Don't throw things in the bus. Safety and the big yellow bus keeps everyone safe and sound.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Ryan Spurney. It's now time for our tasty segment, Food Facts. In this feature, specialist from the New Hanover County Child Nutrition Office joins us with important information for living healthy and happy lives. This week, Sydney Filippo gives us 10 tips on how to make healthy eating choices during the holidays.
It's holiday season, and that means there will be plenty of parties and feasts to attend. It can be a struggle to eat healthy around the holidays. Today I'll be giving you 10 tips to help you make healthy choices over the holidays. Be realistic. Don't try to lose weight during the holidays. Instead, try to maintain your current weight. Plan a time for exercise. Exercise can help to relieve stress and prevent weight gain. Holidays can be a very stressful time, so including moderate daily activity can be helpful. Increasing daily activity can also help to offset holiday meals. Try a 10 or 15-minute brisk walk twice a day. This can be something good to get your whole family involved in. It will help to offset that dreaded tired feeling you get after eating too much turkey. Don't skip meals. Before you leave for a party, eat a light snack. This can be something like raw vegetables or a piece of fruit. It will help curb your appetite. That way, you will be less tempted to overindulge. Look at the whole buffet or table before filling your plate. A good tactic is to choose your favorite foods. That way, you can skip over your least favorite. When making your selections, try to choose some fruits and vegetables too. It will help keep your plate in balance. Eat until you're satisfied and not stuffed. Enjoy your favorite holiday treats, but eat a smaller portion. It can be helpful to sit down and get comfortable. That way, you're less likely to go back and get seconds. Be careful with beverages. Non-alcoholic beverages can have a ton of calories and sugar. For those who are able to drink alcohol, it can lessen your inhibitions and increase the possibility of overeating. Consider sticking to water or unsweetened beverages. If you overeat at one meal, go light on the next. It takes 500 calories per day or 3,500 per week above your normal maintenance consumption to gain 1 pound. So it's impossible to gain weight from one piece of pie. Don't be too hard on yourself. Take the focus off of food. Turn your holiday baking time into non-edible projects. This can be something like making wreaths, dough art, or a gingerbread house. You could also plan group activities and with family and friends that aren't all about food. Maybe think about hosting a game night or plan to go on a holiday walking tour in downtown Wilmington. Bring your own healthy dish to holiday gatherings. Practice healthy holiday cooking. Prepare your favorite dishes so they're lower in fat and calories to help promote healthy holiday eating in your own home. Some examples are to use a little bit less bread in your stuffing. Instead, think about adding more onion, garlic, and celery to your stuffing. Add fruits like cranberries or apples can also be a good solution. To moisten and flavor the dressing, add a low sodium or chicken or vegetable broth or applesauce. Take the skin off your turkey. You can save 11 grams of saturated fat per 3 ounces serving by taking off the skin. Use chunks of potatoes in your green bean casserole instead of creamy soup. You can also top the casserole with almonds instead of those great onion rings. Use skim milk in your mashed potatoes. And for dessert, make a crustless pumpkin pie. I'm Sydney Flippo with the New Hanover County Schools Child Nutrition Department. I hope these tips will lead you to a healthy and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Sydney. Those are some great tips for the holiday season.
Yes, they were. Speaking of healthy, here are a few facts about how healthy pumpkins are. A serving of pumpkin, which is considered 87 grams, is only 23 calories.
Pumpkins are ingredients in pies, breads, soups, and several other foods. They contain vitamins A and C, folate, potassium, and iron. In addition, they are sodium and fat-free.
Pumpkin seeds can also be roasted for healthy snacks. The seeds are rich in protein and a good source of iron.
So if you do feel the need to splurge while eating this holiday season, pumpkin pie sure is a delicious choice.
I love pumpkin pie.
Me too. Now it's time for our first look at your school news. So let's send it over to Airly Ward at the news desk. Good morning, Airly.
Good morning, and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm Airly Ward. Our top story this week: North Carolina students now have a higher proficiency standard to meet on the state's end of grade and end of course tests. New standards today were approved by the State Board of Education to bring expectations for student performance in line with current career and college expectations. We have a report from YSN reporter E.J. McGonigal.
When the 2012-2013 test results are provided to parents, schools, and districts in November, results will be much lower than North Carolina has seen for a number of years. Local school and district scores will be released on Thursday, November 7th at the State Board of Education's monthly meeting in Raleigh.
Well, New Hanover County school students are not losing ground. They're making progress, but the bar has been raised. The standards are much more rigorous and in alignment with what students need to be successful for career and for college.
State Board of Education members feel it is important for North Carolinians to have assessments that give everyone a clear picture of how well students are prepared for today's jobs and careers. The process of establishing cut scores on each end-of-grade test came after weeks of analysis and work with classroom teachers to identify standard levels. The goal is to sharpen the focus on what students need to be successful after high school graduation. In the past, North Carolina's achievement levels were more focused on what students needed to be successful at the next grade level. Based on the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction analyses, schools and parents will see drops as high as 30 to 40 percentage points in terms of the percentage of students scoring proficient or above. For students, these scores will not affect their grades or their current placement. The 2012-2013 school year is considered a transition or baseline year for these new assessments and the state's new accountability model.
Well, the first year that we implement a new curriculum, we consider that our baseline year. There are new standards. Teachers have been undergoing professional development for the past 2.5 years. And with the baseline data, we'll take a look at it as a district and then determine where we need to improve in terms of professional development for teachers, maybe additional instructional strategies for students on certain standards, and then we grow from there.
The 2012-2013 assessment results are not comparable to prior year's scores. The tests are different and measure new content standards. North Carolina's revised Standard Course of Study was implemented for the first time in 2012 and 2013. The assessments reflected in the new standards were given to students for the first time in the 2012-2013 school year. The chart on the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction website shows the percentage of students likely to be proficient by grade level and assessment. Actual results at school and district levels will vary. Reporting for Your School News, this is E.J. McGonigal.
Roland Grice Middle School Principal Will Hatch and science teacher Elizabeth Jones attended the Wilmington Business Development meeting this month. Ms. Jones received an award for excellence in STEM teaching from Corning. The school was also recognized for support of STEM best practices in the classroom. Ms. Jones teaches hands-on, inquiry-based science and integrates technology to engage and extend her students' learning experiences. Students in Ms. Jones's classes also extended their understanding of content with projects and presentations involving the use of technology to research and create presentations with different formats, including PowerPoint, Prezi, Glogster, and website development. Congratulations to Ms. Jones and Roland Grice for this award. Finally, the school system's executive office professionals recently held their fall kick event. The local EOP organization is dedicated to the achievement and advancement of professionalism in educational office personnel and to the improvement of the quality of service provided for students, educators, and the community. Additionally, the organization works to assist educational office personnel in participating effectively in public policy issues which relate to education. The fall kickoff event was an exciting one for the 20-plus office professionals who attended. It began with a chance for everyone to learn a new line dance or get a good laugh trying. Then special guest speaker Connie Hill, author of Lump to Laughter, was introduced by Superintendent Tim Markley. Dr. Markley was on hand in support of the EOP organization and the outstanding work the group does each year in New Hanover County. Ms. Hill talked to the group about her battle with breast cancer at age 34. Her message to the group wasn't preachy, but was informative without being dull. Many of those in attendance found Ms. Hill's story inspirational without being sappy. New Hanover County Schools Executive Office professionals hold several fundraisers each year. The organization collects money every year for their scholarship program, which helps at least 1 or 2 county students with college expenses. The kickoff event was a great start for the organization. For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 12 for Your School News, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Airly. In addition to watching Your School News and the morning show, you can see many of NHCS TV's programming online.
Just go to the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV video library link under Items of Interest right there on the front page.
You can watch great programs there like Diversity Matters, Up Front with the Superintendent and the Sports Roundtable.
It's an excellent way to watch our programming whenever you want.
We now have an important feature focused on electrical safety around at home. This classic morning show segment stars the safety man and his trusty students as they teach their family the do's and don'ts of electrical safety. It's a charming video with great information for the whole family.
Hi, I'm not only a lifeguard of water safety, but a lifeguard for all safety. That's why kids like to call me Safety Man, because I'm always looking out for your safety in every way I can. I don't like to see kids and parents doing dangerous stuff. And there are so many places you could get hurt. A pool is not the only place you have to be careful. There are many dangers in your own home. And one specific danger is electricity. Now, don't get me wrong. Electricity can be very good. It helps keep you warm or cool. It helps cook your food and even makes your TV and video games run. But if used improperly, it can be very dangerous. By learning just a few simple things about it, you can help keep your house safe for you and your family. Electrically speaking, that is. My friend Melinda did it. I taught her everything I know. Let's take a look and see how she taught her family a little about electrical safety.
Hey, what are you doing, you little rugrat?
I'm trying to save your life. Water and electricity don't mix. When electricity gets in water, it can shock you very badly. And my name is Melinda.
Oh, okay, Melinda. But the only thing to be safe for me right now is time.
Oh, hi, you two. How was your day?
Great! Today's safety man came to our school and taught us all about electrical safety in our homes. I was just trying to tell Rick how dangerous it is to have a cord that close to the sink.
He taught us all about how to check to make sure our house is electrically safer.
Let's go through our house to see what we could do to make it safer.
I'm going to watch TV.
Oh, no, Rick. Let's see what your sister and Aaron have learned. Come on.
Oh, Mom.
Check this out.
It looks like an octopus. Cords are everywhere.
Wow, that's dangerous stuff.
Safety man would not believe his eyes. This is a mess. First of all, never run an extension cord under the rug. It's a dangerous hazard because the cord can wear through the insulation covering the electrical wire, heat up, and start a fire. And that's not all.
Oh, look, Melinda. This bathroom has a GFCI.
What in the world's a GFCI?
A GFCI is a ground fault circuit interrupter.
A GFCI, or ground fault circuit interrupter, is an electrical device that detects any stray or leaking electricity, even very small amounts, and it cuts off power rapidly. It could save your life. When appliances, like this hairdryer, have damaged cords, or if you were to accidentally drop it in water while drying your hair, the water becomes electrically charged. The GFCI should sense this and shut off the power leading to the appliance. The electricity should shut off before any serious injuries or an electrocution occurs. But of course, you should never try this. GFCIs are for accidents.
Yeah, but you have to test them every month. It's really simple, though. When you press the test button down, the reset button automatically pops out. That indicates that the GFCI has turned off the power.
Then you simply press the reset button to restore power.
Important point, Melinda.
And this type of GFCI only cost about $10. Anyways, if an appliance falls into the water and it is not connected up to a GFCI protected receptacle, the first thing you must do is to unplug it and remove it from the sink, and don't use it again until it has been checked by a professional service center.
And remember, even if you do have GFCI protection in your bathroom, never leave these types of countertop appliances plugged in, especially if they're by water, because water and electricity don't mix.
Kids, this is all great information. Hey, let's see if Rick's bedroom's electrically safe.
Yeah. See this? This means danger. Rick has extension cords nailed to his ceiling, running all over his floor. If the cord is punctured with a nail, or if it wears through when you walk over it, this can cause a fire or a shock. Plus, he has his outlet loaded past maximum capacity, a major fire hazard, because overloaded cords can overheat.
Oh yeah, this is really bad. Most outlets only allow a maximum of 15 amps.
You mean like my guitar amp?
No, not like a guitar amp.
Not exactly, Rick. Amp stands for ampere, not amplifier. Ampere is a term used to measure the amount of electric current moving through a wire, like the wires in a house. Most outlets are protected by circuit breakers or fuses. When too many appliances are used at the same time, the circuit breaker or fuse from the overloaded outlet should turn off the electricity. And before you turn the electricity back on, unplug some of those products from the overloaded circuit.
So you blow a fuse or two. What's the big deal?
It could cause a big fire. The fuses are put there for safety, so too much electricity can't go through the circuit. Oh, look! This is a heavy-duty 3-pronged cord, but you've got it plugged into a 2-pronged receptacle.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't fit, so I got rid of the extra prong.
You what? That 3rd prong is put there for a reason, you numbskull.
Well, how useful could it be, Melinda, if it wouldn't fit in the holes?
When there's a malfunction, the 3rd prong grounds the electricity. You see, you can still plug a 3-pronged plug into a 2-hole receptacle, but you need the right adapter. When you use an adapter, have Mom or Dad attach the adapter, tab, or wire to the screw on the face of the receptacle. That way, the cord and appliance will be grounded, and the electricity will remain in the receptacle.
Hey, and don't forget about the polarized plugs. Here's one. See how one prong is bigger than the other? It's made that way for safety reasons. So the plug will go in the outlet in only one direction to help keep you from getting shocked.
Wow, this electricity stuff is really electrifying.
Great job, you wizards of electrical safety. You've learned to be lifeguards yourselves. Lifeguards in your very own home. You're back. Hope you all learned something from little Melinda, my star lifeguard.
Thanks, Safety Man. Those were excellent tips.
Yes, they were. And be sure to tune in again next month as the Safety Man will return with important safety information for the holidays.
Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of the morning show will continue right after this break. But before we go, we have our trivia question of the day. Since this is the pumpkin show, our question revolves around that. When is a pumpkin not a pumpkin?
Ryan, that's not our trivia question.
When you drop it, then it's a squash.
Good fun. But now you can give them the real trivia question.
Okay, the average pumpkin weighs between 10 and 20 pounds. Today's trivia question asks, how much does the world's record-holding largest pumpkin weigh? A, 516 pounds, B, 765 pounds, C, 1,151 pounds, or D, 2,032 pounds. Think about it and we'll have the answer when we return.
History's Timeline, a world of history in 60 seconds, brought to you by New Hanover County Schools. June 25th, 1950, the Korean War starts when North Korea invades South Korea. January 31st, 1958, the United States launches Explorer 1, its first space satellite. November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy is assassinated in Dallas. Lyndon B. Johnson becomes 36th president. July 21st, 1969, Apollo 11 lands on the moon. Astronaut Neil Armstrong becomes the first man to walk on its surface. This has been History's Timeline, an educational snapshot of the fascinating people, places, and events that have shaped our past.
Jangan awal.
This song was created with heartbeats of children in need. Find out how it can help frontline health workers bring hope to millions of children at everybeatmatters.org.
Welcome back to the morning show. This week, the pumpkin takes center stage.
Large pumpkins have been a thrill of farmers and state fairs for years and years. Each year, they seem to get bigger and bigger.
Our trivia question today asked, how much does the world's record-holding largest pumpkin weigh? A, 516 pounds, B, 765 pounds, C, 1,151 pounds, or D, 2,032 pounds. And the answer is D, 2,032 pounds.
In fact, when I said the pumpkins get bigger each year, that is true. In 2012, a new world record pumpkin was grown and set the world record at 2,009 pounds.
Yet just this year that record has been broken. Tim and Susan Matheson have set the record by growing a 2,032-pound pumpkin.
The massive pumpkin, along with many other oversized fruits and vegetables, was recently on display at New York's Botanical Gardens.
2,032 pounds. That would make one big jack-o'-lantern.
Yes, it would, and a lot of pumpkin pies.
Archaeologists study past human life and culture through the recovery and examination of remaining material evidence. Using artifacts, inscriptions, monuments, and other remains, they paint a picture of the past. In many cases, that picture tells a story. We have one of those amazing stories from our friends at the Archaeology Channel. This week, they take us to Bahrain and the island of Muharraq.
The news these days from the small countries of the Persian Gulf often relates to Middle East tensions and the oil-based world economy. But the region's deep, colorful, and complex history seldom reaches the front pages. In the 1630s, the Portuguese built fortifications at Bu Mahar Fort in today's small island country of Bahrain, but the historical record is sketchy. A four-cornered fort was there in 1818. The British destroyed this structure in 1868, and the ruins, including a solitary stone tower, became a local sheikh's horse stable. At the request of the Bahrain Ministry of Culture and Information, a team from the British archaeology firm Oxford Brookes Archaeology and Heritage arrived there in early 2010 to find out what remained of the fort beneath the ground.
We're here at Bu Mahar Fort on the island of Muharraq in Bahrain as part of an Oxford Brookes team working on behalf of the Ministry of Culture and Information. We want to dig the fort, we want to establish its dating, its occupation history, and expose as much of it as possible. The view you see here is the surviving and rebuilt remnants of a fort. It's the only surviving wall and tower. The other towers are buried. They were shelled by the British in the 19th century, after which the fort ceased to be used for its original function.
We've been digging trenches on the site now for a couple of days, and one of the first things that we found on the site is that in the 1970s a lot of the fort has been rebuilt and reconstructed, and as part of that work a lot of the ground has been made up around the fort to give the impression of a sort of brand new reconstructed landscape in effect. And as part of that work, some of the older features, the original fort features, have been buried. So what we've been doing today is cleaning up one of the features that we have found, so we can try and date the wall accurately. And the next thing for us to do is to record the earlier structure that we found, so we can start to make a plan of the original fort as it was.
380.
So, past few weeks at the fort, I've been recording some of the elevations here, the tower and the curtain wall. We thought might be old, turns out it's 1970s, but and then taking the survey of the whole site with the total station to tie together what all the guys have found while they're digging, and hopefully we can make some interpretations about where other parts of the curtain wall and the towers were, and yeah, should provide an interesting project.
My job is to provide the environmental and landscape context to the fort and to any archaeology we find on the site. And this area is quite important because it's one of the only pieces of virgin coastline in Bahrain, because the rest of the island has been so heavily reclaimed into the sea. And I'll be looking at test pits and drilling holes to have a look at the subsurface stratigraphy and try and understand how the topography has changed, and use that information to put the archaeological information in an environmental context.
Excavation is only the start of the process. We need to study the finds. There will be months of work following the excavation. Chaz and his team will have to conduct the analysis of what they've excavated. I will have to study the pottery, do comparative studies. We will have to look at the other finds. We have coins, for example. We will be working on this for quite some time because excavation is really just the beginning.
That was an interesting story. It's amazing how archaeologists can recreate past structures like the fort.
It is. It was also interesting learning about a country we don't hear much about.
Thankfully, we'll be airing more reports from the Archaeology Channel throughout the year.
All right, now it's time for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, November 4th through Monday, November 11th.
On Monday, November 4th, decide on the tough choice of tangerine chicken with brown rice or seafood combo with cornbread. Round the meal out with flavorful corn, garden salad, and a frozen fruit cup.
Then on Tuesday, November 5th, treat yourself to a delicious meal of beef taco with Spanish rice or a grilled chicken sandwich. Also, chow down on barbecue pinto beans, sweet potato casserole, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, November 6th, satisfy your need to feed with a submarine sandwich or cheesy breadsticks. Also on the menu are tomato and cucumber salad garden, chilled pears, and mouth-watering fruit jello with topping.
On Thursday, November 7th, be sure to enjoy mini ravioli with a breadstick or a chicken fillet sandwich. Side items include scrumptious roasted butternut squash, broccoli with cheese, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
Then, on Friday, November 8th, celebrate the coming weekend with a pizza slice or a turkey ham and cheese hoagie, accompanying your meal with macaroni salad, wonderful lima beans, garden salad, and mixed fruit.
Finally, on Monday, November 11th, celebrate Veterans Day by enjoying a healthy lunch with a veteran in your life. Remember, there's no school that day.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
A segment added to the morning show last year that quickly became popular was Cook It. Culinary students from New Hanover High and Holly Shelter Middle School join us with great and easy to make recipes. Sticking with our pumpkin theme, today the students teach us how to make pumpkin muffins.
Today we're making pumpkin muffins from Holly Shelter Middle School. And Kiki's going to start out with our dry ingredient bowl. Kiki, if you'll put in 3 cups of flour. Then we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. We actually need both for this recipe. Great job. And then the last dry ingredient we're going to add is 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And let's mix that well. In a separate bowl, Paris is going to put together our liquid ingredients. Paris, if you'll go ahead and add 1 can of pumpkin.
Pumpkin is a good source of vitamin A and C.
And to that, we're going to add 3 large eggs, beaten well. And our last liquid ingredient will be 2/3 cup of oil.
Instead of oil, you can use applesauce.
That makes it really healthy and heart healthy and friendly. We're going to mix that together and we're going to add that to our dry ingredients. Just hand me that bowl, and girls, if you'll mix that well. In the meantime, we have a second bowl prepared for you, so we can go ahead and show you what that looks like with our muffin tins. You want to take a 12-cup tin and line it with your favorite liner. And we're using an ice cream scoop, which is a great tip. It's easier and it makes even portions. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes, or just until they're golden. One thing you can also do is you can add like a powdered sugar at the end, or your favorite frosting. And go ahead and put those in the oven for us. Paris, thank you. Great job, girls. And this is what our finished product looks like. We hope you enjoy those.
That recipe sounded delicious. I'll have to try it at home. I love learning new recipes.
Me too.
If you would like a copy of these recipes, then drop us a note at nhcstv@gmail.com.
Now don't go away. The best morning show in New Hanover County continues right after this break.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did. It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that. Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
I'm Ashley. Ready, let's sing. When you're strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gone.
What should you do to stop a friend from driving drunk? Whatever you have to.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Ryan Spurney.
And I'm Jackie DiNapoli, and this is our special pumpkin show.
Now, this time of year, the pumpkin reigns among food, from the jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween to the famed Thanksgiving pumpkin pie.
Pumpkins are believed to have originated in North America. Seeds from related plants have been found in Mexico dating back to 7,000 to 5,500 BC.
References to pumpkins date back many centuries. The name pumpkin originated from the Greek word for large melon, which is pepon. Pepon was changed by the French into pompon. The English changed pompon into pompion. American colonists changed pompion into pumpkin.
Native American Indians used pumpkin as a staple in their diets centuries before the Pilgrims landed. They also dried strips of pumpkin and wove them into mats. Indians would also roast long strips of pumpkin on the open fire and eat them. When settlers arrived, they saw the pumpkin grown by the Indians, and pumpkin soon became a staple in their diets too.
As today, early settlers used them in a wide variety of recipes, from desserts to stews and soups. The origin of pumpkin pie is thought to have occurred when the colonists sliced off the pumpkin top, removed the seeds, and then filled it with milk, spices, and honey. The pumpkin was then baked in the hot ashes of a dying fire.
The world's leading county of pumpkin production is Floyd County, Texas. They grow about 1 million pumpkins a year and celebrate with Pumpkin Day on the second Saturday of October. However, the citizens of Morton, Illinois call their town the pumpkin capital of the world because Libby has its pumpkin industry and plant there.
The pumpkin has become universal and are grown all over the world on 6 of the 7 continents, with Antarctica being the sole exception. They are even grown in Alaska.
And there you have a brief overview of the pumpkin.
Let's switch over to the news desk now for your school news with Airlie Ward.
Thank you, Ryan and Jackie, and welcome everyone to your school news here on the morning show. Kindergartners at Ogden Elementary recently completed their All About Me unit. During this unit, students shared what makes them special and the fun activities they like to participate in after school. We get this report from Chase Fulton.
The Venn diagram in kindergarten? Yes, Venn diagrams can be used effectively by our youngest students. The trick is to make them user-friendly, hands-on, and developmentally appropriate as a tool even kindergarten students can use with ease. In Miss Asiri and Miss Wheezy's classes, students were guided toward an understanding of the Venn diagram by letting them physically manipulate the concept by sharing a little bit about themselves. Learning about Venn diagrams taught the young learners about comparisons. Students learned that each hoop is a separate category, and since these hoops are linked, the area where they overlap represents more than one category. Ogden students worked with their classroom shoulder buddy to compare how they are alike and different.
Well, in my classroom, one of our objectives for kindergarten is understanding growth and change over time. So as we learn about this concept throughout the year, what a great way to introduce the concept with thinking about ourselves, how we've grown from being a baby to a toddler to a school-age kindergarten kid. And we've learned as teachers that students learn the most by analyzing similarities and differences. So for, again, introducing Venn diagrams to my classroom at the beginning of the year, it's important, I think, for the students to understand how can we understand the difference between ourselves and others, and how can we record those differences using a Venn diagram.
Venn diagrams are a common and effective way to display and analyze data. They are frequently used in middle school and high school and are great tools for students of all ages to use. That's why these activities were so beneficial to the Ogden youngsters. They got a great head start and had a fun time doing so. During the class time, students also completed timelines to share how they have grown over time. Students had a great time sharing about themselves and learning about their classmates. This lesson is one they will come to appreciate and won't soon forget. Reporting for your school news, I'm Chase Fulton.
National education nonprofit Project Tomorrow has selected the NC Virtual Public School as a Speak Up 200 school. Speak Up 200 schools are a collection of top K-12 schools that encourage and involve student, parent, and teacher ideas and views in education, planning, and decision making. As the designated Speak Up 200 school, the NC Virtual Public School will be prominently featured on the Project Tomorrow website and receive special recognition, including a unique Speak Up 200 logo to use on its website. Project Tomorrow also will promote the distinction to North Carolina's congressional representatives and governor to demonstrate the power of educational innovation at the local level. Additionally, Speak Up 200 schools' success stories are shared with the organization's partners and national policy organizations. The NC Virtual Public School was selected from the 35,000 schools nationwide that have participated in the annual Speak Up surveys since 2003. North Carolina Virtual Public School is the second largest state virtual school in the nation. College Park students shared their goals for the new school year with their parents at school's first student-led conference. The basic concept was for students to lead the conferences about their academic progress. They take ownership of their learning experience, sitting at the table with their parents and teachers. Older students generally share their body of work throughout through portfolios and work samples. There are a number of benefits for student-led conferences. Students actually show parents what they know and are learning in school, while parents are exposed to materials and activities that students engaged in during the school day. The events give teachers a chance to observe interactions, comment, offer suggestions, and model strategies. Best of all, students, parents, and the teacher are all active participants in the conference. College Park students proudly showed off their personal portfolios and the things they learned to everyone. That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the video library link under Items of Interest on the home page. Now back over to Ryan and Jackie.
Thanks, Airly. All right, Jackie, I have an interesting pumpkin fact to share.
What is that?
Did you know 90% of all regular pumpkins are sold for Halloween jack-o'-lanterns?
I did not know that. Here's one for you. Apocalypsimposis is the fear of turning into a pumpkin.
And that's an odd fear.
Yes, it is. Our next segment features host Jamie Stalfort. Each week, she looks at a unique top 10 list that is informative and entertaining. From animals to food to entertainment and education, each episode counts down 10 items that are tops in their category. Follow along and see if you agree or disagree with the list.
Welcome to another exciting edition of The List. I'm Jamie Stalford, and this week we have a little treat for you. I'm a big fan of food, as are most people, considering we need it to survive. But some people take this love of food to another level, buying the best food that exists. You better open up your checkbooks, because this week our list is all about the top 10 expensive foods. At number 10 is saffron, an Indian spice. The labor and resources needed to harvest just 1 pound of saffron takes 50,000 to 75,000 flowers, the sum of a total of an entire football field of these small flowers. Costing between $500 and $5,000 per pound, it is easy to see saffron made it on this week's list. But don't you think your curry is worth it? Coming in at number 9 is the Dansuki watermelon. The Dansuki watermelon is a black watermelon that is harder and crisper than the American watermelon and costing as much as $6,100. And it's mostly water. At that price, bottled water almost looks cheap. Our number 8 is yubari melon. Another Japanese fruit, the yubari melon is among the sweetest, juiciest melons in the world. However, they look just like the common cantaloupe. In 2008, 2 yubari melons went for $26,000. Want to become a millionaire? Slap a yubari sticker on a cantaloupe. Matsuki mushrooms are number 7. Mushrooms are mysterious, neither plant nor animal, and the Matsuki mushroom is another Japanese delicacy. It's one mystery that costs between $90 and $905 per pound. They form a symbiotic relationship with the tree's roots and never grow again in the same spot more than one time. That's why these fun guys are so popular. Get it? Fun guy? Our surprising number 6 is Chocopology by Nip Schilt. The most prized chocolate in the world is Chocopology. This little wonder contains 70% Valrhona cocoa and black truffle and costs about $2,600 per pound. It's made with no preservatives or additives, making it healthy chocolate. Yes, I did just say healthy chocolate. We're almost there. At number 5 is Kobe beef. What is said to be the best beef in the world comes from the most pampered cows in the world, the Wagyu cows of Japan. These bovines are raised in a lack of luxury, receiving daily massages to ensure the tenderness of the product. However, at $100 for every 200 grams, you'll be saying, where's the beef? Coming in at number 4 is, of course, caviar. The Almas caviar variety is the most highly esteemed, coming from the eggs of the beluga sturgeonfish. They are tiny, pale, amber eggs that cost an astounding $8,400 to $15,500 a pound. It is because these eggs take 20 years to grow. It also happens to only be sold at a shop in London where it's served in a 24-karat gold tin. And if you'd like some, you better sign up for the waitlist because it's already 4 years long. Number 3 is white truffle. Not the chocolate kind. Truffles are a rare kind of mushroom. The white truffle crowns the forest floors as the most prized truffle because of its intense flavor, aroma, and scarcity. The fungi are only found underground and grow on the roots of certain trees in particular regions in Italy and Croatia. The most expensive white truffle ever sold was for $330,000. How's that for a magic mushroom? Bird's nest soup takes the number 2 spot. It's made up of the saliva nest built by cave swifts, a bird found in southeast China. Yes, I said saliva. It is dissolved in water to create a gelatinous soup. Per pound, the cost ranges from $900 to $4,000, making it the most expensive animal product consumed by humans. How's that for a little spit? And finally, drum roll please. Our number 1 expensive food is gold. Yes, I said it, gold is edible. It's the world's most expensive food, a product with a flavorless taste, used mainly in small quantities as flakes or gold leaves for decoration to adorn other expensive foods. If you like to adorn your next Thanksgiving turkey, it'll cost you. The price for edible gold is $33,000 to $110,000 per kilo. Well, that wraps up this edition of the list. Whether you want to feel fancy or you really just want to try them, you'd have to be a little crazy or really rich to get these on your hands. At least you learned something, right? I'm your host, Jamie Stalford, and I hope you join us next time for another exciting edition of the list.
Wow, those were some pricey foods.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be eating any of those anytime soon.
Maybe I'll try one if I win the lottery someday.
Good luck. Now, coming up in our show, we have What's Up in Science and more news with Airlie Ward.
Here's great moments in music. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
All right, listen, we all need a little nudge sometimes. I don't function without coffee in the morning, but it is going to take more than a double mochaccino to help you here.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns. No quiero oír. Danny, no lo puedo hacer. Quiero oír. Danny, lo voy a hacer.
DMC, liking your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs. Just keeping it real. Louder! Louder! I'm gonna get my GED! Come on! Get your GED!
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Just 3 granules of lead dust can harm your child. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Global warming. Some say irreversible consequences are 30 years away. 30 years? That won't affect me.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Jamie Stoutford. Cool Chemistry with Clay David is an exciting segment which explores the awesome world of chemistry with a range of fun experiments. Learn about atoms, acids, molecules, electrons, metals, and all kinds of interesting chemistry topics. Cool Chemistry has it all. Experiments with invisible ink, baking soda reactions, and much more. Here's Clay with today's edition of Cool Chemistry.
Hi, and I'm your host, Clay David, and this is Cool Chemistry, a show that will take things from around your home and show you how little chemistry can make some cool reactions. Chemistry is not just for the high school class or college classroom, but it is all around us and it's happening every day. We are going to learn where it is and how to watch for it while learning how to make it happen on our own. It is always important to remember when doing any sort of experiment that safety comes first. Always wear gloves and safety glasses, and be sure to ask adults before mixing anything. For our show today, we will be making elephant toothpaste. That's right, elephant toothpaste. In this experiment, we will create a foamy substance from which a chemical reaction that will form a column of foam resembling toothpaste coming out of a tube. Since the column of foam can be very big, it produces toothpaste in the mass proportions needed by an elephant to brush its teeth. First, we need to get some ingredients together. You will need a clean 16-ounce plastic drink bottle. Next is something that you may not have at home, but it's not too hard to come find, and it is a half cup of 20 volume hydrogen peroxide, which is the hydrogen peroxide is right here. You may have heard of hydrogen peroxide. You may use it at home to clean cuts and scrapes, but it is very different, and it is something you definitely do not want to put on your skin. You can find it at any beauty supply store or hair salon. You'll need 1 package of dry yeast, and you will need some dishwashing soap, and some food coloring, which is right here. Be sure to cover the table, or even better, do this outside to prevent a big mess. Your mom will love you even more for this. Now let the fun begin. Carefully pour the hydrogen peroxide into the bottle. To the half and pour it in. Remember to do this, remember to be careful. This stuff will make your eyes and skin burn, so be sure to wear your glasses and gloves. Next, add 8 drops of your favorite food coloring. I'm just going to do a little bit of red. 1, 2. And now dump about 1 tablespoon of dishwashing liquid into your bottle. And swash it around a little bit, as I just did. In a separate cup, combine about 3 tablespoons of warm water and the dry yeast and mix it up for about 30 seconds, which I've done here. I've already mixed these, but you should do it now and wait. Okay, are you ready? Pour the yeast mixture into the bottle. that you've just set out to wait, and a funnel is really helpful, so I'm going to use one right here. And now the foaminess begins. Instant Elephant toothpaste. Now for the chemistry that makes this foaminess happen. Each tiny bubble of foam is filled with oxygen. The yeast is called a catalyst, or helper, to help the oxygen remove the oxygen from hydrogen peroxide. Since it did this very, very fast, it made lots of bubbles. This experiment created an exothermic reaction. The foam produced is just water, soap, and oxygen. So now you can clean it up with a sponge or paper towel and pour the rest down the drain. This foam looks like toothpaste because we made it come out of the bottle, but don't put it in your mouth because it's really not toothpaste, just soapy foam. Thanks for catching this edition of Cool Chemistry, and be sure to check in with me next time to see what we're mixing up. This is Clay David reminding you to keep your eyes open for more cool chemistry. Until next time.
Now it's time for our first look at your school news. So let's send it over to Airly Ward at the news desk. Good morning, Airly.
Good morning, and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm Airly Ward. Our top story this week: North Carolina students now have a higher proficiency standard to meet on the state's end of grade and end of course tests. New standards today were approved by the State Board of Education to bring expectations for student performance in line with current career and college expectations. We have a report from YSN reporter E.J. McGonigal.
When the 2012-2013 test results are provided to parents, schools, and districts in November, results will be much lower than North Carolina has seen for a number of years. Local school and district scores will be released on Thursday, November 7th at the State Board of Education's monthly meeting in Raleigh.
Well, New Hanover County school students are not losing ground. They're making progress, but the bar has been raised. The standards are much more rigorous and in alignment with what students need to be successful for career and for college.
State Board of Education members feel it is important for North Carolinians to have assessments that give everyone a clear picture of how well students are prepared for today's jobs and careers. The process of establishing cut scores on each end-of-grade test came after weeks of analysis and work with classroom teachers to identify standard levels. The goal is to sharpen the focus on what students need to be successful after high school graduation. In the past, North Carolina's achievement levels were more focused on what students needed to be successful at the next grade level. Based on the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction analyses, schools and parents will see drops as high as 30 to 40 percentage points in terms of the percentage of students scoring proficient or above. For students, these scores will not affect their grades or their current placement. The 2012-2013 school year is considered a transition or baseline year for these new assessments and the state's new accountability model.
Well, the first year that we implement a new curriculum, we consider that our baseline year. There are new standards. Teachers have been undergoing professional development for the past 2.5 years. And with the baseline data, we'll take a look at it as a district and then determine where we need to improve in terms of professional development for teachers, maybe additional instructional strategies for students on certain standards, and then we grow from there.
The 2012-2013 assessment results are not comparable to prior year's scores. The tests are different and measure new content standards. North Carolina's revised Standard Course of Study was implemented for the first time in 2012 and 2013. The assessments reflected in the new standards were given to students for the first time in the 2012-2013 school year. The chart on the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction website shows the percentage of students likely to be proficient by grade level and assessment. Actual results at school and district levels will vary. Reporting for your school news, this is E.J. McGonigal.
Rolling Rice Middle School Principal Will Hatch and science teacher Elizabeth Jones attended the Wilmington Business Development meeting this month. Ms. Jones received an award for excellence in STEM teaching from Corning. The school was also recognized for support of STEM best practices in the classroom. Ms. Jones teaches hands-on, inquiry-based science and integrates technology to engage and extend her students' learning experiences. Students in Ms. Jones's classes also extended their understanding of content with projects and presentations involving the use of technology to research and create presentations with different formats, including PowerPoint, Prezi, Glogster, and website development. Congratulations to Ms. Jones and Roland Grice for this award. Finally, the school system's executive office professionals recently held their fall kick event. The local EOP organization is dedicated to the achievement and advancement of professionalism in educational office personnel and to the improvement of the quality of service provided for students, educators, and the community. Additionally, the organization works to assist educational office personnel in participating effectively in public policy issues which relate to education. The fall kickoff event was an exciting one for the 20-plus office professionals who attended. It began with a chance for everyone to learn a new line dance or get a good laugh trying. Then special guest speaker Connie Hill, author of Lump to Laughter, was introduced by Superintendent Tim Markley. Dr. Markley was on hand in support of the EOP organization and the outstanding work the group does each year in New Hanover County. Ms. Hill talked to the group about her battle with breast cancer at age 34. Her message to the group wasn't preachy, but was informative without being dull. Many of those in attendance found Ms. Hill's story inspirational without being sappy. New Hanover County Schools Executive Office professionals hold several fundraisers each year. The organization collects money every year for their scholarship program, which helps at least 1 or 2 county students with college expenses. The kickoff event was a great start for the organization. For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 12 for your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our hosts.
Science is an ever-changing and advancing field. Each day, week, and month, new discoveries are being made and unique experiments are brought to a conclusion. From the tiniest particle to the vastness of space, discoveries are being made in all fields of science. Our host, E.J. McGonigal, takes a look at 4 of the most recent and interesting happenings in science in our news segment, What's Up in Science?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to NHCS TV's newest segment, What's Up in Science? I'm your host, E.J. McGonigal, and I'm going to be taking you on a journey through science's most interesting discoveries made in just the past few weeks. But first, your science fact of the day. Did you know that 10% of all human beings ever born are alive at this very moment? It's pretty intense. Speaking of intense, imagine what it would be like to be able to control a friend's body with just your brain. Scientists at the University of Washington have done just that. In late August, Rajesh Rao and Andrea Stocco volunteered to be the subjects of a groundbreaking experiment concerning something called brain-to-brain interface. Rao and Stocco were in 2 separate laboratories on opposite sides of the UW campus, clad in tight-fitting caps with built-in electrodes, set up to read electrical activity in the brain. The 2 scientists were looking at identical video games on monitors in the 2 labs that required the player to push a button to fire a cannon at a specific target. Now, neither scientist had any external communication with each other, yet as Rao imagined pushing the button with his right index finger, without actually moving his finger, when the video game required it, Stocco's right index finger struck the key on the keyboard. This diagram should give you a basic idea of what was really going on. He described the feeling as being similar to that of a nervous tick. The human brain is an incredible thing. What do you think it would be like to grow one right in your own living room? What a ridiculous thought, right? Well, in late August, Austrian scientist Jürgen Noblich and his team managed to develop a small human brain that resembles that of a brain about 9 weeks into its development. This was accomplished through the use of embryonic stem cells that were bathed in nutrients, as seen here, that nudged them to enter a neural state. When in this neural state, they started to self-assemble. As you can see here, the photo on the left displays a component of a human brain. The one on the right shows the same component, but in the organoid generated by the scientists. While these small brains will not help scientists study the mysterious inner workings of the fully developed human brain, they do provide insight into the stages of early brain development and even disorders that occur in early stages of pregnancy, which is a huge step forward. Now tell me, what if you woke up one day and realized you were a Martian? Now what if I told you that day might be soon? That's right, evidence is actually being found that suggests that life on Earth might have originated on Mars. Molybdenum, an element that might have been necessary for the creation of life, was most likely on the surface of Mars billions of years ago, however not available on Earth. You see, in order for molybdenum to have an effect on the formation of life, it must be highly oxidized. This means that it could not have been available on Earth at the time of life's origins because there was very little oxygen on Earth. However, there was a plentiful amount of oxygen on the red planet. This information further supports the theory that life on Mars was actually brought to Earth via an asteroid collision or similar occurrence. I don't know about you, but I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to find that out. HIP 102152. Does that mean anything to you? I didn't think so. See, it's the name of a star that is more similar to the Sun than any other studied star. In fact, it is nearly identical to our Sun, except it is 4 billion years older. See, this star actually gives scientists the ability to see how the Sun will look and behave as it ages. HIP 102152 is thought to be about 8.2 billion years old. Scientists were studying another star that is quite similar to the Sun. This solar twin is called 18 Scorpii and is only about 2.9 billion years old. Our Sun is right between the two in age at 4.6 billion years old. This picture shows the lifespan of a star similar to our Sun, and the location of both 18 Scorpii and HIP 102152 on that timeline. Something that is quite odd about HIP 102152 is that it has a very unusual chemical composition that is different than other stars yet that resemble the Sun, yet is much like that of our own Sun. They both show a deficiency of elements found in copious amounts in meteorites and also on Earth. See, this fact points towards the thought that HIP 102152 is actually orbited by terrestrial planets. This is because the planets lock up those elements when they begin to orbit around the star. Science truly is a fascinating topic, and there are incredible breakthroughs being made every day that many people don't know about. I am here to share those with you and keep you up to date with scientists' most interesting and fantastic discoveries. I'm EJ McGonigal, and thank you for tuning in to this week's What's Up in Science.
The morning show will continue right after this break. Remember, you can be a part of everything on New Hanover County Schools TV by becoming our friend on Facebook.
We'll be right back.
Everything moves fast in racing. But when we're thirsty and in a hurry, we don't cut corners on refueling. I'm Casey Kane, asking you to make healthy decisions. Pass on the sugary stuff. Refuel with water instead. You've got a choice. Rethink your drink. Eat smart, move more. North Carolina.
Mom! Mom!
What?
You can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
In 1990, in Severn, Maryland, the daughter of a clergyman was discovered by a music industry insider while pumping gas at a service station. The odds of her getting signed and spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of this former church choir singer going on to sell 40 million records? 1 in 15 million. The odds of the same woman winning 6 Grammy Awards and starring in 2 Broadway plays? 1 in 75 million. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Ryan Spurney.
And I'm Jackie DiNapoli. As we have mentioned several times, this is our pumpkin show.
And I have another splendid pumpkin joke.
Let's hear it.
What did one jack-o'-lantern say to the other?
I don't know. What?
Cut it out.
Good one, Ryan.
Thank you.
Now I can't help but notice we have some pumpkin pie here on set today.
Yes, we do.
I would love to have some.
Me too. However, our news anchor, Airly, is in charge of that. Welcome, Airly. What do you say? Can we have a piece?
Perhaps, but first you must participate in a fun game, Pumpkin Tic-Tac-Toe. For many, many years, various versions of tic-tac-toe have been played here on the morning show, and it's only fitting that our first tic-tac-toe of this year is on our pumpkin show. Here are the rules. I will ask a pumpkin-related question. If you get it right, you can mark the board in an open spot of your choosing. The questions will rotate back and forth. If we run out of questions or tie, the person with the most marks on the board wins. Ryan, you will mark the board with uncarved pumpkins, and Jackie, you will mark the board with jack-o'-lanterns. I flipped a coin before the show, and Jackie, you get to go first. Okay, contestants, are you ready?
Yes.
Pumpkins are A, vegetables, B, fruit, or C, minerals.
Vegetables?
No, the correct answer was B, fruit. Okay, next question is for Ryan. Pumpkins have been grown in North America for closest to A, 500 years, B, 5,000 years, or C, 50,000 years.
I'm going to go with B, 5,000 years.
That is correct.
All right, I'll put my piece in the top right corner.
Okay. Next question is for Jackie. Pumpkins were probably served at what famous meal? A, the Last Supper, B, the first Thanksgiving, or C, halftime at Super Bowl 30?
B.
That is correct.
All right, put my piece in the middle.
Okay, Ryan. Pumpkins are a good source of nutrition. They are A, low in calories, fat, and sodium, B, high in fiber with vitamins A and B and potassium, or C, all of the above.
I'm going to say B.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was C. Jackie, the largest known pumpkin in the world weighed A, 513 pounds, B, 1,061 pounds, or C, 3,211 pounds.
C?
That's incorrect. The correct answer was B, 1,061 pounds. Ryan, pumpkins are members of the family Cucurbitaceae, which also includes A, cucumbers, B, cauliflower, or C, broccoli.
I'll say A, cucumbers.
That's correct.
All right, I'll put mine in the top left.
True or false? Pumpkins contain potassium and vitamin A.
True.
That is correct.
My piece on the top middle.
True or false? Pumpkin flowers are edible.
True.
That's correct.
All right, I'll put mine in the bottom middle. Oh God, what if no one wins?
The largest pumpkin pie ever made was over 5 feet in diameter and weighed over 350 pounds. It used A, 80 pounds of cooked pumpkin, B, 90 pounds of cooked pumpkin, C, 60 pounds of cooked pumpkin, or D, 75 pounds of cooked pumpkin.
C?
No. The correct answer was A, 80 pounds of cooked pumpkins. Pumpkins were once recommended for removing A, warts, B, bruises, or C, freckles.
I'm gonna go with C, freckles.
That's correct.
All right, I'll put mine in the bottom left.
Pumpkins are A, 90% water, B, 70% water, or C, 60% water.
C.
That is not correct. The correct answer was A, 90% water. True or false? 80% of the pumpkin supply in the United States is available in October.
False.
That is not correct. The correct answer was true. True or false? Native Americans flattened strips of pumpkins, dried them, and made snacks for the children.
True.
That is not correct. The correct answer is false. They made mats out of dried pumpkin.
What if they ate them?
How many of the 7 continents can grow pumpkins?
6. Sorry.
A4, B6, or C7, and you got it correct.
B6, yes. All right, I'll put it in the bottom right.
And our winner is Ryan. You may have a piece of pie.
Great, I'll cut myself a piece.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show. Remember, for the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for the New Hanover County Schools TV and the Learning Network of the Cape Fear. Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.